for charming second-generation rich kids turned out to be demons hunting young girls. They have already harmed 20 girls, luring them to the mountains before brutally hunting them down. Today, the 4 men targeted another prey, a blonde girl sipping bubble tea in a restaurant. The man gazed at her obsessively, thinking she would be tonight's prey. He, with all his charm, invited Veronica to play a game. The innocent girl was captivated and Veronica didn't think much of it. Veronica put on lipstick, changed into a red dress, and eagerly accepted the invitation, unaware that the man had brought 3 companions along. And so, the 4 men and 1 woman arrived in the forest on the mountain. Deep in the woods were a few broken sofas, where they sat down to play truth or dare. Before the game began, Veronica pulled out a bottle of wine to liven up the atmosphere, and everyone took a sip except for William. The game commenced. William drew a challenge from a bag, and it turned out to be a truth. Veronica asked William about the worst thing he had done, and William remained silent for a moment. He confessed that while hunting, he once released an injured rabbit. Veronica was puzzled, thinking it was a good deed, but William explained that releasing an injured rabbit was more cruel than killing it. He spoke with a face full of sorrow, while Veronica felt a chill in her heart. The game continued, and the bag passed to another person's hand. He drew a dare to kill something. Veronica froze, but the person opposite her looked relaxed. He stood up, picked up a worm from the ground, and then stuffed it into his mouth. Veronica covered her mouth, almost vomiting. At this moment, the bag passed to Veronica's hand. She pulled out a wooden plank. It was a dare, and the man beside her suddenly became excited. William took out a belt and tied Veronica's hands together. Now, she couldn't use her hands anymore. The game continued, and it was Veronica's turn again. With William's help in selecting, the card revealed death. Veronica panicked, wanting to go home, but how could they let her go? They gave Veronica 5 minutes to escape. When the time was up, the 4 men would hunt her down. Listening to Veronica's desperate cries, the 4 men revealed their true beastly nature. Seeing her pleading and suffering, the men became even more excited. They couldn't wait to announce that the hunting game had officially begun. Veronica ran for her life, darting into the forest, skillfully freeing herself from the bindings. She kicked off her high heels, tying up her long hair, her expression icy and calm, showing no signs of panic. It turns out that everything that just happened was a disguise of the young girl. She was an assassin, trained since childhood. This was her first mission, and the target was these 4 demons. Now, the prey had become the hunter, and Veronica began her counterattack. The young girl was a professional assassin. She first pretended to be weak, relaxing the demon's guard, and then pulled out a bottle of wine. However, this wine had been spiked with a hallucinogenic drug. Once consumed, it would reveal their deepest fears. Now, the hunting game began. Veronica's first target was the 4th member of the demon group. He was a neurotic sadist, with unpredictable moods. His greatest fear was this panda mask. Terrified, he kept retreating. Then he grabbed an axe and wildly started hacking and slashing. Having successfully dealt with one, the next target was the 3rd member. He was a mama's boy, traumatized by a childhood kidnapping. He was overly dependent on his mother, insisting on eating ice cream made by her after every meal. His deepest fear was the appearance of a masked kidnapper. Seeing himself surrounded by kidnappers, he completely broke down, helplessly calling out for his mother. Veronica took the opportunity to advance.
Once smarter, you cowards! Come on!
Next up was the 2nd member, who was timid and cowardly. He harbored jealousy towards the leader of the demon group, fearing most that his girlfriend would leave him for the leader. But in the hallucination, this fear became reality. Watching the 2 of them getting along so well, he was consumed by rage. He rushed up to argue with the leader, grabbing his girlfriend by the neck. Yet, in the next moment, the girlfriend transformed into Veronica. Now, only William remained, and he also sensed that something was amiss. Discovering the bodies of his companions, he understood everything. Following the trail of the bodies, he arrived at the lakeside, where he indeed found the killer, Veronica. The biggest demon was right in front of him now, but Veronica dared not make any reckless moves. William not only had combat training but crucially, he hadn't consumed the drugged wine. Veronica planned to stall for time, but William threw a punch at her, forced to engage. Veronica had just dealt with 3 others and was visibly fatigued. Quickly, she found herself overpowered. At a critical moment, Veronica remembered a technique her assassin instructor had taught her. She circled behind William, then swiftly grabbed his throat. Within 20 seconds, she could render a person unconscious, and indeed, William passed out. Looking at him, Veronica took out the bottle of hallucinogenic wine. She poured it into his mouth. Unwilling to let the demon die so easily, she wanted him to slowly perish in the depths of his innermost fears. When William opened his eyes, he found his hands bound to a tree. The arrogant demon was finally in a panic, pleading incessantly, but he had never considered that the girls he had killed had also experienced such helplessness. Veronica looked at him and said, "Let's play a game, just close your eyes." The man was terrified, but in the next moment, he saw a group of girls approaching him. They were all victims of the hunting game, the souls of the innocent girls. He recoiled in fear.
Get away from me. Get away from me.
Then, he stepped into empty space. To others, it appeared as if William had killed his companions and then committed suicide out of guilt. Clearing Veronica of suspicion,